Hi everyone, just thought I'd jump in and have a quick chat before we get started. Good to see you all. Hey Marcus, I see you doing a beautiful shoot on the beach the other day. Have you published those yet? I can't wait to see those. I just want to answer your question, Chris, too. Chris, you're doing an all-nighter in Australia right now. So what is it, 4 a.m? You really are doing an all-nighter. To personalize your profile, log into your SBE account, go to your dashboard, click on your photograph, and you can update your account. You should be able to update all of your details in there. Yell out if you can see me and if you can hear me okay, everyone. And before we get started, I've got lots to show and tell you today. Yay! Hi Wendy, how you doing? Where else are you guys coming in from right now? Hi from Boston. Austin, Texas. Oh, is it getting hot in Texas right now? 100 degrees. Oh, 80% humidity. I was actually in Texas last month and boy, it's getting hot. Oh, good, Marcus. I can't wait to see that. How you guys all doing out there? Good? Very good. Nice to see you. Oh, Maine. Okay, Nicholas, it's on my bucket list. Maine, Tahoe. Okay, because I've done 42 states, so I haven't done Maine, and I'd love to go and see Joyce Tennyson because she lives there. I've done Calgary, I've done Germany, I've done Maui, I've done San Diego, I've done everything I'm seeing in here, I've done Florida, I've done 42 states. I'm trying to get to all of them. I love all of Canada as well, by the way. Canadians, absolutely beautiful, just like New Zealand. And so I'm going to do Maine, definitely. I want to see Joyce there. I want to see Joyce's house. Also, we have another photographer in our network, Kathleen Clemens. Actually, Kathleen's usually here live. Kathleen's up in that area too, and her husband is like a lobster fisherman. And so she gets up with him at 4 in the morning. She goes down to the fishing docks in Maine, and she photographs the fishing boats and the trees in the fog in the morning, and it's so beautiful. I've done Michigan, absolutely. I've done Colorado, I've done Denver. I love Denver. I've done New Jersey. Yep, I've been ticking off those states. Gosh, there's some beautiful states in this country. Fargo. I have not been to Fargo, Bethany. It is not on my bucket list, but I want to come and do a studio tour at your studio. So I do think Fargo is definitely going to be on the list at some stage this coming year. Okay. I just want to show you this before I get started. So when we're ready to start, I'll do a nice clean start for headshots and personal branding because I've got lots of cool stuff to share. But first, I would like to show you this. So we've been working on the Portrait Masters directory for awards and accreditation. So I want to show you what we're doing because we've finished it this morning and we now have to populate this page and then we beta test it. Okay, so we need a couple of days to beta test it. I'm going to say Thursday. If you log into SBE, click on the image on your dashboard, you can update your details. Now, if you have already achieved the level of associate, master and fellow. Yes, we have 3 people that have reached fellow. I talked to them yesterday and said the page is going up early. Do you want to be published as fellows? Because we are honouring them at the Portrait Masters Conference. So they're getting double shout outs because they're awesome and they've made it. So I will talk about them today because they're absolutely incredible. Log into SBE, click on the image, update your dashboard, make sure you've got a great profile shot, website, Instagram, social media, contact details, and then a short bio. Make sure it's the image that you love about you. Let me show you this page. So right now we'll put the slide up. I'm actually going to come up here so I can read that because you're reading this. So the whole idea of this is the awards and accreditation page. You will find a gallery on here. It talks about all the merit levels and what they represent. It talks about the accreditation levels from bronze, silver and gold. Then it talks about the accreditation levels with the gold being Portrait Master, Associate, Master, Fellow. It walks all of our clients through what we've achieved, how we've achieved it. Then you'll see the accredited list of photographers like this. They're in alphabetical order. Then we go to here, if you click on anybody's names, so I clicked on Bethany's, you will see that Bethany Tubman-Joss, so Bethany Tubman-Joss is one of our very first fellows, along with Sarai Roman Taylor, and you'll see everything right here. I'm going to say their 3 names, and Ulla Jensen. So I'm going to be honouring these 3 amazing photographers at Portrait Masters because they're our very first fellows. follows. Now, you'll see that there is a private profile page. It says your level of accreditation at the top. It says your full name. Then it says your business name. Then it has access to link to your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, and then it has a bio on there too, which you can personalize and write about yourself and make people come and follow you. Okay, so Thursday, it's going to go live. We're in beta testing right now. You can update your profiles right now and get ahead of the game. So make sure you put in your proper name, your business name, your website, your Instagram, your Facebook, and write your bio. I know it's hard writing a bio. It's got to be the hardest thing to do. So I look at it like this. I actually found it was really hard writing about myself. So you've got to either get somebody that's very good at writing, and I chose an actual professional blogger that really loved my work and was friends with me. So she knew me personally. She wrote my bio in the third person, and then we also wrote one that's not her voice. So I actually wrote it like a testimonial bio, which I really liked. But for this, I feel like you should be personal. This is about people looking for accredited photographers. They've clicked on your name because they might be looking for a photographer in the area. But, you know, it's one of those things, and write it short, sweet, and really dynamic. And hey, I want you to keep one thing in your head as you're writing it. Shameless self-promotion. You just don't get anywhere without telling people who you are and what you do. You've got to be proud of yourself. You've got to own it. You've got to speak confidently. So write the dream bio, even if it doesn't feel good enough now. Write it about the photographer that you absolutely love. Write the bio that represents why you love them, and I bet you it has a whole lot of truth about you. And make sure that you write, you know, who you are and what you specialize in. And then that first click to your website should make people go, wow. So get in there and do that now so that that goes live on Thursday. Right? Any questions about that? Because if you want to ask me any questions, I'm happy to answer them before I get started. Otherwise, I'm going to do a nice clean start on headshots and personal branding because I've got lots to share with you. No questions? No questions. All right. I'm going to get started then, guys. Headshots and personal branding. This is very, very cool. I want to show you my location kit, and let's price out this kit. And I want to know if you have this kit now or if you are saving and preparing to purchase this kit, because there is so much you can do when you have this kit. Okay, now I tried to keep it very simple. I actually went with a one light setup. Now you can see me do this one light setup on Portrait Masters stage. The video is Portrait Masters One Light. And I did it for the face campaign. I shoot the one light white on white. I shoot it onto a black background and just get that gorgeous face light. It's become the most dominant shooting light that I use, and it's one light and one large modifier. So I did a little walk around of my lighting setup on video so that you can see distance. So have a look at this. As you can see, I chose the extra large white umbrella. Now, I love the 5-foot Octobox, and I love the extra large white umbrella. You can get it in white or silver. I say white because the silver umbrellas bring in more contrast and harder blacks, okay? So I prefer white because it's a little bit softer. The bigger the modifier, the bigger the spray of light. So this is as close as I can get to a massive natural light glass door. It's an amazing modifier, but I'm not pushing Pro Photo modifiers and Pro Photo lights. I would if I could, but I know how expensive they are. So the B1 light is around $2,000, $2,200, and then the extra large modifier is around $400. So that's a $2,600 light. Now you can get Godox, you can get Elinchrom, you can get cheaper lights, you can get lights more expensive, the same. This is just the best light I have found. Why is it incredible? I'll tell you why. The extra large umbrella is considerably easier than the Octobox to dismantle and set up. The Octobox is like wrestling an octopus, a baby octopus, but the umbrella is just like zhunk, and I find it so easy to travel with, okay? I actually find it easier than the Octobox. But again, if you have an Octobox, you're probably very good at wrestling with it, and that's not a problem. I take one light, I take one diffuser on that light. So the diffuser you can see right now in this picture is attached. I will need at least 2 apple boxes, sometimes 2.5, so I definitely take them. Or if I'm traveling, I'll take my Hanson Fong blocks because they come in a travel pack and it's easy. You can see by this picture that I chose a backdrop stand and a seamless backdrop stand holder and a seamless backdrop to go on it. Now that backdrop stand averages around $130 and the seamless backdrops are around $60 for an 8-foot. So this kit still comes in under $3,000, but being that you can make thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars from this kit, it is the investment kit that you are absolutely working towards. So I don't care which light you choose, as long as you choose the biggest, a nice good strong light that you can turn down and the biggest modifier you can. Matthews apple boxes, yes, I have Matthews and 3 different kinds. Cassandra, I have absolutely no preference for apple boxes as long as they're strong and versatile and easy to set up. The ones that I do have, I got originally from B&H. They're actually like a babushka doll. The end opens and the other smaller boxes pack inside, which make it easier to travel, but it is heavy, and that's something that I had to get used to. All right, so I do want you to photograph this travel kit. So wherever you can, maybe you get a job in a corporate office, you're actually on location, take the time to step back and photograph your set, whether there's a model sitting in your chair or not. It's a great way to use it on your marketing magazine to pitch to other businesses that you can come into their business, set up your set, and you can say, this is my gorgeous setup. I can shoot in my studio or remotely. Okay, and then you've got a beautiful graphic to put for your business relationships and working with other businesses. So make sure you photograph this travel kit and just show it either working on location or set it up in your space and show the kit. And you can say, when you're negotiating with businesses to do all of their corporate headshots, and we want to price out 1 to 100 people, you want to do some big corporate packages, you want to pitch to them to come to your studio to save all of those people having to come to your space, although I will always take my studio. So as I started to take these photographs, I want to talk to you about this lighting setup also, because have a look where the light sits. In this image, you can see the bottom of the modifier is hitting her right at the bottom of the chin. Okay, now look at this setup here. So we sat her down. She's about 2 feet from the background. Now this is an 8-foot seamless paper, so it's very big, but if you're photographing 2s and 3s, you're going to need 8 foot or 9 or more in width. Find out also if any of these businesses have a painted clear wall, because I have shot straight onto a clear wall and I did not need to take a backdrop at all. So 2.5 apple boxes. You can decide for your backdrop. I'm going to give you a couple of travel alternatives so you can see what else we've bought in the studio. We want to make it cheap to buy this kit, but this is a good kit to invest in because it's going to really help you get more work. So the light that I've used is the One Light XL umbrella in white with one ProPhoto B1, and it's on a C-stand with wheels. Now, a C-stand with wheels and a boom arm is going to give you so much more flexibility, but if you can only afford a C-stand right now, do it. Peter Hurley sells water bags. Now they're like sandbags, but they're travel. You empty them, you get to your set, you go and fill them up with water, and you can carry them and put them on your C-stands. You do not want your big light and modifier to hit the deck. You've got people walking around, people will trip over the C-stand, they'll trip over the wheels, and you really need to anchor it, so there's something else to carry in that travel kit. something else to tick off in your get ready list is sandbags or water bags. Okay, but this is how gorgeous one light is. The image on the left is the extra large modifier on the back of my shoulders. So my head is sitting right in there, and my head is the same distance to hers. So remember my rule, my eyes, her eyes. If she sits, I squat or I sit. If she stands, I stand. So wherever she is, that's where my camera is, unless she's curvier and I'm going to go up a little higher and tilt down, or unless she is super lean and I can go lower and shoot up a little bit to balance out their body type. But the difference between the left image and the right image is all you have to do is walk them forward 2 feet off that backdrop and put a black V-flat around them. So let's talk about that. This was with absolutely no V-flat, no reflector on the left-hand side. This is just one extra large umbrella slightly pointing down. You can see the gorgeous little shadow line under her chin. You can see that there's a little bit of contrast shaping around the outside of her body. It's giving nice shadows. There's not a shadow on the background because I'm tilting down and I'm getting that beautiful cross of light. The seamless paper I chose for these images is called Mocha, and I absolutely love it. I saw this plum dress and I was like, yes. So on the right image, I brought in 2 black V-flats on either side, and I kept the girl and the light in exactly the same distance. So if you have a look at their faces, there shouldn't be a lot more shadow on the right-hand side because the light did not change. But the black V-flat around her simply brought in more contrast and negative fill. And then because I'm 2 feet from the background, the light has lessened by a good 4 stops on that background. So I've just shifted everything forward 2 steps. I moved the light on wheels. I asked the client to move the box with me, and then I put black V-flats around her. So I provide all of my images for personal branding and headshots in both color and black and white. The reason I do this is because I charge the highest amount for headshots, and I want to give back the highest value for what they have paid for. I truly believe I want to be the one that sets their color tones and their black and white. I am a black and white connoisseur. I'm not going to let my client put a color image into gray tone and publish it. They're going to do a poor job. I like my blacks black and my whites white. I like mid-tones. I like really high-key black and white, and then I like really gutsy black and white, and I want to be the one to make that decision. So the backgrounds I chose for this whole series of images was look for a wall if you're shooting on location, white wall, light grey wall, dark grey, colour wall if you're shooting in black and white. Seamless paper, 8 foot, it's around $60. You know they don't last long because you're always cutting them off clean, winding them up, cutting them off clean, the edges get tatty, but it is a great way to personally brand a set of brand images. Let's say you're going into a corporate office, their image or their entire brand is blue, and you've chosen the perfect blue with them to represent their brand. You can buy their seamless paper added on as a cost. It's $60. Now, an 8-foot roll is kind of hard to travel with in a small car. So let me show you the Westcott travel backdrop. We just got these about 4 months ago, and I've got to say, kind of blown away. I got the green sage paper, I got a blue paper, and I got mocha. These are the 3 colors I bought in to do all of these shoots, and I absolutely love every single one of them. I've got to say, all 3 of these tones, green, mocha, and blue, they're really muted tones, so you could really punch them up to poppy and bright, or you can kind of desaturate them 10% and just bring them down and then start toning in based on whatever your client is wearing in the image, which is super cool. So this is the Westcott X Drop. It's $119 and you get 1 color. It's only 5 by 7 feet, but it seems much bigger. It's quite weird. It's not going to be good for more than one person, but if you're just doing headshots, check out how compact this is. For starters, the entire unit is in here, okay? And the backdrop is wrinkle-free. It's kind of like poly fleece, like how you get a yummy hoodie, like a warm winter hoodie. So it's thick. and it comes in white, grey and black. So it's $119. It packs down into this tiny little travel pack, which is considerably easier than a big backdrop stand, but you have to think about size, how much space you have, and travel, because I'd rather take this than the big backdrop stand and an 8-foot backdrop. You can buy this in a mid-grey and a black. So if you just buy one stand, that's $119 with one colour, and then you can buy the grey and the black for $40 extra. So I feel like this system is going to work for a lot of people, and you'll find that you can just Google Westcott X-Drop. X-drop. It's a wrinkle-resistant backdrop kit. It also comes in a 5x12 foot that goes all the way down. Black, white and grey, $40 each, $119 for one colour and the stand. Packs down into this. This is pretty amazing. Like now I think about going on location for headshots and I could get my kit right down to as light and portable as possible. So we used for the black V-flats, because we wanted to look at travel kits, we used portable V-flats from V-Flat World. So the cool thing about V-Flat World is they have these folding V-flats. Now you can buy these from V-Flat World. So here's the deal. They're like $200, but they're very thick. They're not like the thinner V-flats we get. They're gaff taped to fold in quarters, and they come in a carry bag with a big handle with V-Flat World on it. Or buy some V-flats and cut them in fourths and gaff tape them yourselves. You can customize them, you can buy them. There are two people in this world whenever I put any product out there, the people that want to make their own, and then the people that say, no, I'm going to buy those. So to buy these at Sammy's, the thinner version, they're about $18, $19 each. They're 8 feet long, which is very hard to travel with, very hard to bring home in your own vehicle, whereas these fold down. So here is another option, and I think it's very, very, very important option. So I have a question there. These images are not headshots, but rather 3/4 body shots. Let's talk about that, Donna. So let's talk about delivery, because I feel like the biggest complaint I see over and over again is people saying, people take my images, chop them up, do bad edits on them, and then they literally look terrible on Instagram and they're tagging me. Oh my gosh, look what my client just posted. Oh my gosh, this is there. Now look at it like this. So I said to my producer, my stylist, to everybody that was not a photographer in my office yesterday, I said, how do muggles edit their photographs? And they all looked at me and said, what? And I said, well, how? If you weren't a photographer, how would you crop a photograph if somebody sent you a photograph? How would you do that? And I was like, okay. So one of my staff said, well, I would just do it on Instagram. And I was like, but Instagram only give you square and 5x4. So that's cropping the top and bottom. So you're going to crop into my image, and then you're going to choose a filter that is a heavy Instagram filter that's not going to look good. So what I have done for literally years is I have done this. I have created a headshot version, head and shoulders, longer crop, vertical, square. I create banners with extended backgrounds and a full horizontal image of as many of the images I can in both color and black and white. If I feel like the shoot is a little bit more creative or a little bit more than headshots, so more than that sort of up and down headshots posing, and it's going more into personal branding or a little bit of a hybrid of two, I will actually give extra toned images from Alien Skin. So I'll do a dramatic edit, I'll do a gorgeous warm edit, I'll do a colder edit, depending on the client. Now, if it's just a straight up and down client, I need gorgeous headshots, I keep it really simple, black and white and color. But if they want a little bit more, if they pay that little bit more and do that higher level, I go for it. At this point, they've already paid. You're giving them more options. You're providing more value. You're giving them more options to not doctor your work on social media, okay? Now, if they do doctor your work on social media, let it go. It's not yours anymore. It's theirs. And I understand that this is your communication, your work, and your vision, but it's not. When somebody else commissions you to create work for them, it becomes theirs. I feel this way, and I know other people do not, and it's okay if you don't agree with me. This has been my ethos in business. And you know what? It's always worked for me because I give my clients the power. I've always said to my clients, once you pay for them, they're yours. They're yours. They're also mine. I get to use them as well. I get to put them on my website. I get to share them. I get to post them. I get to talk about them. But I want them to know that these images are theirs. And I'm not going to ruin a client relationship by dictating to them how I want my work displayed. I've seen photographers put it in their contract. I don't understand why you would do that. Now, I'm not trying to start a fight. If you don't agree with me, that's completely okay. Just be aware of it. If you give them more options, they don't doctor it, okay? And if you talk to them about those options, let me set the tone, let me set the color, let me set the black and white for you so they look gorgeous and amazing. Tell them this, that you're going to provide this, and they will love you for it. Now, let's talk about expressions, because with headshots, you maybe get 15 minutes, maybe less, maybe even 10. If you're going to shoot on location, you're really going to have to do a test to how many you can shoot in 1 hour. And then you're going to have to lock down in your head sort of your solid top 10 starting poses, because you don't have enough time. You don't have time to change the light. But don't worry, that one lighting setup is exceptional. If you practice it and you absolutely nail it down, you will nail it time and time again. Okay, now practice your 10 poses. So there's a posing video attached to this today, just for basic headshots, and bring that composition right up to head and shoulders for headshots. Now, expressions, you're going to get really good at talking through expressions. We have a couple of videos on expressions, but I feel like the videos on expressions are mostly for portrait. So they're all very much a relaxed mouth. So let me talk about what I do in this video. So you do see me do this in the video. You're going to hear my language. You're going to hear the language as I'm posing, talking through the expressions. And I really want you to look at this. The top left image is really completely passive face. Relax your face, sit into the pose, relax your mouth, eyes to me, relax your eyebrows. I tell people to drop their eyebrows because often when they're listening, their eyebrows are up, engaged, and they have a listening face. So I'm always drop the eyebrows down, relax the face. Then I slowly start to bring the smirk up. Now, if you tell people to smirk, they'll go from 0 to here very quickly. And a smirk to me is the rising of the mouth. So it starts right here. Now, the third image, I've started to talk to her about smiling with her eyes. So she's walking through that smirk, and now she's really starting to lift her eyes. And you'll see in the fourth image, she's pushing right into a full eye smile with a smirk. Then I ask for the beginnings of a teeth smile, and I say it like this. I want you to come up into an easy smile. Give me some teeth. Don't spend it all at once. Good girl, there it is. And I let them start to smile. As they start to smile, you will find the range for headshots is in the last 3 images. Smirk with nice smiley eyes, coming up into a nice easy smile, into a full smile. Now there are 8 very different expressions on this sheet, and you can print this out so that you can work your way up through the 8. Not everyone has 8 smiles. Some people have more, and some people have much less. Some people have very, very big front teeth and they cannot close their mouth, so I let their relaxed mouth be the one that naturally shows the beginning of their teeth, because it's when they're relaxed and they're looking at you with a relaxed mouth that they look the most beautiful, and then I work them up into a full laugh. Honestly, you've got to focus on how do you want to be photographed, what style of light, how dramatic, how light, how breezy, what energy do you want to portray? Is this fun and colorful brand? Is it stylish, classic? Is it Vanity Fair portrait? Talk to them about the mood, talk to them about the image that they want to portray. This is where you're going to use expression. Check out this 2-act pony right here. So my headshots crack me up so much. My top 3 expressions are exactly the the same smirk, and my bottom 3 smiles are the exact same smile. So I kind of have 2 speeds, right? I have, I'm deciding whether or not I like you, and then I love you and I'm leaning into you. I'm joking. I just seem to have 2 speeds. Not everybody has multiple expressions. Then I looked at my last year's headshots, and you can see that G's given my smirk as my first image, and the progression is my half little smile. I don't look good with a half smile. I'm never going to pick anything with a half smile. I'm going to go with that smirk, and I'm going to go with that big smile. So as you start taking people through those little increments up into a beautiful full smile, you're going to see people, just don't let them go too big, okay? Keep it smaller, really control how far they go up. I'll take a question. I feel like the businessmen get so uncomfortable with this type of instruction in my experience. Ideas how to work on it with older corporate men like lawyers and doctors. Robin, what you're talking about is feeling intimidated by them. So you have to understand 99% of the people that sit in front of you for a headshot don't want to be there, feel vulnerable, feel uncomfortable, and all of their insecurities are brought to the front. It is pretty hard to hide how you feel about yourself. Older clients, particularly women and men, do this thing where they can be a little bit intimidating, because when they're afraid, they tend to be a bit more gruff. They tend to be a little bit sort of rude. They tend to be a little bit dismissive. And this is where I have always walked up to men and women, looked them right in the eye, nice and close, and said, most people tell me that they would rather go to the dentist. I'm going to make this painless. You're going to listen to some really easy direction, and I'm going to take the best portrait profile photograph you've ever had taken, okay? I'll be quick, and this is quick and easy. And then you've practiced your poses, you know what to do, you're going to flow with confidence, and you're just going to hit them. Nobody wants to be there, so you might as well call out the elephant in the room. Now, if these men are intimidating you because they're smart men, they're powerful men, I found when I was younger I would be highly intimidating walking into these situations because I felt like they didn't want me there. The truth is they just don't really want to be photographed, so I would just hit it. I say it to men when they come in for family portraits. I know the girls are all hair and makeup and having the time of their lives, but for you this is like watching paint dry. But trust me, I'm going to create beautiful portraits that you can keep forever, and you're going to love them. I would just be direct, strong, make eye contact, shake hands, and it's very important that you learn to shake hands, because nobody likes a limp handshake. Now, traditionally, it used to be men that shook hands, but we're in business, we're business owners, and I'm a woman and I'm a business owner. My father taught me how to shake hands. I step in, I shake hands, I look eye, I say their name, I repeat their name, I'm direct, I don't chatter, I hit it right where I need to hit it, and then I get down to it. I practice my poses so I'm not going to be tripped up in these situations. Remember, you need water. It helps if you have a mirror, because if you put a mirror in there, they will check themselves and they will feel better. Have water, have a snack, have your business card. You get a very short amount of time to make a really good impression and take a good photograph. So even though I don't look great in all the smiles going up to my bigger smile, that's not my biggest smile, because I've got a real horsey smile when I'm at full power, but this is the range where I keep it tight and I keep it looking good. So this is a tilt, and often you'll see me shooting and I'll have somebody in a pose, I'll have somebody ready to go in a headshot pose or in a portrait pose, and I'll ask them to tilt. So the body language when you're interested in somebody is a slight head tilt. Put your head tilts in there because they are super powerful for body language, and they really change the way you receive the image and the person in the image. So look at this. This is a lean in. You can see this live. This is part of the shooting posing video. I actually started back and I had her lean towards me progressively in every single pose. She not only progressively leans towards me, she becomes warmer in her expression as she leans towards me. And all of these images, to answer your question, can be cropped nice and tight just as a headshot. So I noticed, and I made them a little bit bigger so you can see the progression here. As she leaned into me, each individual image as you sit with them really bring you into a conversation. I want you to watch people in a cafe or a restaurant today, tonight, lunch, anytime this week. If you've got two people sitting in a chair and you've got one person with their elbows on the table and the other person with their elbows on the table, these two people are into each other, okay? So the leaning forward is projecting my body language towards you. You can really feel it, especially with corporate images. You can feel the engagement. Where does this look good? Does it look good if they're sitting sort of back and like, hey, I'm the power CEO, I own my space, I don't need a big smile, and then they come into that forward-leaning connection, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So watch that body language because it's super, super powerful. Now, I want to talk about pricing groups because a lot of people have locked in their headshots pricing, and I'll tell you my pricing from 1992 right through till now. I've got that on a slide. But I need you to understand the cost of doing business is how we're going to price these bigger packages. You need to allow for, so you got to do a spreadsheet, you got to allow for retouching cost. Okay, so however many people in your headshots group, how long is it going to take you to retouch, and what amount of images have you promised? Have you promised 3, 5, 10? These need to be retouched. Do I recommend showing unretouched images? If that's what you want to do, go for it. I clean up my images because I want to be a full service, and I know how hard it is to try and get people to fall in love with their shots. So I'm going to give them every opportunity to see the best version of themselves, okay? The best version of themselves. So no, I absolutely do not show unretouched images, but that's my thing. Am I going to take an assistant? Let's say you're doing 15 headshots. You're going to need somebody to help you price them into the quote. Okay, so are you going to do a sitting fee for all 6 people or 10 people or 20 people? Or are you just doing a day rate? Sit down and work it out, and then think about how long it's going to take time-wise to logistically shoot that many people. Is it a day, 2 days, 3 days? Is there travel and accommodation involved? I am not somebody that's going to put an hour's travel time and put $50 gas. I'm going to price my package to be the best priced value package I can. I'm not going to price for gas and travel. But if you fly me to New York to photograph all of your executive team in your office, I'm going to charge flight and accommodation for 24 hours. Am I taking a hair and makeup artist? Am I going to include that in my quote? Always create an option, because is it going to make your ship go faster? They could be there for touch-ups, and you could do a day rate for your makeup artist and then make sure they're available, and you can break it down per image. So whatever amount of images you want to present, you want to break it down per image cost so you know exactly what you're giving. Now, we always say know your worth and then add tax. There has to be a cost margin, then there has to be a profit margin for you, and I want this to be worth your while. So do not do your pricing on, or even your quoting on packages until you've done your cost of doing business to get this done. You know now that what you put as that profit mark, that profit price, is going to be what you get to take home. But remember, we give money back to the business, we give a percentage to tax, and then we give a percentage to ourselves. So when you price these out, you must know the value. And when you know the value, you can break it down in your quote to the business and say, makeup, hair and makeup would be an additional cost of $400 per day. That's their option, unless you want to put it into your quote and pay your makeup artist yourself. It's entirely up to you. So, I'm doing most of this. Okay. So Sarai, you were just saying that your bread and butter is headshots. You know what? It's always been a big thing in my studio, and now personal branding brings it even closer to portraiture. So upgrading to full portrait shoots is absolutely the goal. But you know what? Don't try to flip everybody. Try to get everybody back. Don't try and flip everybody into a portrait shoot. Try and get everybody into a personal branding shoot, and then give them a gift voucher to come back for a personal portrait shoot with you. Client for life. Client for life. Any questions about pricing, ask me now. It does not matter if you are quoting 1 to 100. You really need to sit down and work out, am I going to quote per person, an hourly rate, a day rate, or a commercial rate? Is a day rate and a commercial rate the same thing? Commercial rates for commercial jobs is a very big, like people are like, oh, how long is a piece of string? So let me try and narrow this down for you. A commercial photographer charges between $1,200 and $5,000 a day. The big ones, the good ones, the big names, okay, so the fashion photographers, the celebrity photographers, they start at $50,000 a day. So if you want to get into the celebrity photography world, they're between $50,000 and $100,000 per shoot, and that's to pay for everything, including the set and assistants, everything. That's their rate. Now, most commercial photographers are between $1,200 and $5,000 a day, and then they add licensing. Licensing is an extra cost, and it's how the images are going to be used. Don't get this confused with headshots and personal branding. I have never licensed any of my headshots and personal branding. I have done authors, and the image has gone on a book, and usually they pay a little bit more to have image licensing on a book, because how they use this, and if they use it for further campaigns, usually means they have to pay you again in a year if you have a contract around licensing. I'm going to address this because there are people that have come from the commercial world into the portrait world, and they naturally are licensing and charging like commercial photographers, and they don't like it when I say don't license your images. I have never licensed my images because I'm a portrait photographer that does headshots and personal branding. I don't need to carry a license for these images. I'm trying to create a client for life. I'm trying to be less rigid with my clients so they keep coming back to me for their portrait work, and remember, their personal branding next year. When you hand over somebody's finished personal branding and they love it, you can literally say goodbye and say, hey, make sure you call me when you change your hairstyle next year or next month, because we'll be doing a whole new look, or your brand, or your look, or your image. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, so here's a question. I just had my first corporate headshots in New York for 35 people. I charged $750 for a basic day rate plus $175 for 2 fully edited headshots. Is that per person, Jane? Was that $750 for the day rate and $175 times 35? What did you end up with as an entire job? Break it down for me. I'd love to know, because I love talking about this. Should you push the issue of headshot being the torso up with your pricing? You need to ask your clients what they want, Stacey. If they want headshots and personal branding, you're going to do both. I do all of the above. Everything I shoot in the headshots basic corporate posing video can be cropped however you want, but it's the most basic headshots posing. I'll walk you through all of them now. I don't see a difference. I do both. Also, let's all get off this idea that a headshot is just head and shoulders. If that's what they ask for, do it. If they ask for just headshots and personal branding, do all of the above. I'm not going to just do head and shoulders, because I want to bring the arms and legs up into frame, make triangles, and start making it a little bit more contemporary. You'll see by the examples that I have to show you. What about pricing on lifestyle branding? I've been doing a lot of shoots to feed clients' Instagram. So Charlie, you have to decide hourly rate, day rate, print cost. That's really what it comes down to. Hourly rate, day rate, print cost. With lifestyle shoots and branding, it's still personal branding to me. I would decide between those 3 things. Create a package based on the cost of travel, assistant, hair and makeup, location, any new backgrounds you need to buy, and exactly how they want to be photographed. Okay, what else? Any other questions around pricing? Jane, you're going to break that down. I want to hear it. So it doesn't matter to me whether you're pricing hourly, day rate, or per image, but these are the big jobs that you should be getting. Last time I was in New York, I was with Jerson and Caitlin, and I looked at this skyscraper and I said, look at this. How many people do you think work in this building? And Jerson was like, I don't know, 1,000? And I was like, maybe more, right? And he was like, yeah. And I said, do you think they all need headshots? I was like, imagine coming into pitching these big corporate places. Also, I just did a Hollywood real estate agent, not kidding, last month, I photographed personal branding for a Hollywood real estate agent that saw my white on white profile shot, my new profile shot that G took of me. She saw it and said, I like this image, I want this style. So I did the full look, white on white, and she paid to have Kenzie, my stylist, get that outfit. So that was like her shtick. We added it onto the price. Within about 5 hours of delivering her images, 3 of her big Hollywood real estate agents were like, I want this done, I want this done, I want this done. And I starting price $1,200 just for headshots now. So let me talk you through the last 20 years of pricing. Okay, so in about 1992 till about 2000, I charged $300 for headshots. They would come in and I would take 12 images on a medium format Hasselblad unless they requested black and white, which sometimes they did. So I had a color back and a black and white back on my camera. I would take 12 photographs and then I would do a print run of that film and we would cut it up, and they were 5 by 5 inches. We would lay out 12 images. They would walk in, see the 12 images, and they would choose the 3 that they liked and leave with them. That cost $300. We would offer hair and makeup, and that would be $450. By the time 2000 came around, about 2005, I put that up to $500 and it became a digital package. It was digital headshots, 3 images, $500, hair and makeup offered extra. Remembering we do a lot of personal branding and headshots for men. They don't need the makeup price. No, I do not put makeup on men because it looks weird and you can see it in the photograph, and I don't like it. I can retouch any blemishes, so I don't really need makeup. Okay, by the time I got to about 2009, I put my headshots up to $1,200. I gave 5 images. I no longer offer hair and makeup. It's simply all included because I got to the place in my career where I could just sell higher packages and be a lot more relaxed about what I was giving, because people knew that I would just work with them because I was building lots of relationships. How much does it cost for stylists to bring in a stylist? So Kenzie's stylist rate is exactly the same as a hair and makeup rate. So what I do is I book her as a hair and makeup artist. So if you wanted her for like a full day, you're looking between $250 and $400, depending, like a full day. And she would do styling for your client. She would do clothes. She would do everything. So you're looking at like a makeup artist full day rate between $250 and $400. And she's also a hair and makeup artist, so she doubles, which makes it very good to have her in my studio. If people want to pay for a stylist, they can. She also paid for the outfit. So Ken's just contacted her, they talked over the phone about the look she wants, she got her sizing, her favorite colors, she went and found outfits, returned the one she didn't want, she kept the outfit and she paid for it on her credit card. It's a great option. Maybe not for, Bethany and Emily specifically spend a lot of time styling their clients. They do the pre-styling consultations, which their clients love. And, when you're in Utah and Fargo, a personal styling appointment with your photographer is going to be incredible. So if you are in LA and New York and you're servicing an LA and New York clientele, trust me, they can afford stylists. You can always offer it. It just makes you look good. All right, so then I went up to a $1,200 package. Now I start at $1,200. I'll give 3 images. It includes hair and makeup. There's a few really good selling points here that I used when I was a young photographer starting up. You are now a networking dream. Okay, anybody at your networking event is now your client. You create headshots and personal branding, okay, and you are a networking dream. You are not only able to serve them as a client, you are able to relationship build with them. Remember, headshots and personal branding are tax deductible, so you're going to send an invoice to this business. I'm going to make a little note here. If you are not registered for tax and you are sending tax invoices to companies for deductibles, which, by the way, these people want a tax invoice to their business. They want to be invoiced through their business because this is deductible for them to create their branding. It's a good sales point, and it's really good to say it. Search engine worldwide right now, headshots, photography, and like terms are the highest searched for photography worldwide. Guess what's second? Guess what's second? Portrait. All right, wedding is third, landscape is fourth, boudoir is fifth, and we have some amazing boudoir coming up in the next couple of months. Real estate sits up there at 6, and drone, because drone real estate is the new cash cow as well. Headshots being the biggest. Now think about it, headshots has always been in the top 3. Wedding was number 1 for many years. Both of those are service needs. People need this. You don't need a portrait. A mum needs a portrait of her children, but most people don't need a portrait. A portrait is a luxury item, so a headshot and a wedding, they're service items. They're things you really need. They've always been in the top. Well, portrait is sitting number 2 in the world right now for search, my friends. And if you are a headshots, personal branding, portrait, and wedding photographer, you're in the top 3 SEO words of the world. Get them on your website. So you're going to see at the end of the posing video, there's 2 videos. I asked George to come down from his board meeting. He's wearing a suit. I've got both girls posing with him. I've put a group of 3 together in posing. It's a short video just to show you no hands. That's all you have to learn is no hands. It's absolutely easy. All the same poses apply. You can download the women's posing guide, the men's posing guide, big men posing guide, and the personal branding posing guide, and practice all the poses. Watch the next video too. You can watch that in your own time. You don't have to watch it today. I'll say goodbye and you guys can go and watch it. Ask me more questions about pricing while I'm finishing this off. I want to talk to you about the headshots posing because, as one of you said, these are not headshots. They are headshots. I've just cropped it at a crop of about a number 3 or a number 4 to show you this pose. I have based this posing video around these most basic foundation poses. I'm always, as you can see by this image, going to start off in a standing rotation. I absolutely love bringing people up into the power arm fold. There's a few little tips to learn on where to put this hand and how not to dominate your front hand, how to hide your front hand. I always rotate people back to a front headshot direct, always cropping slightly asymmetrically and then using my hands and my hips to bring the body into curves. I love watching this rotation and using the shoulder, but I do not step into the next rotation, which is looking over the shoulder, which we use in portraiture. I do a lot of lean back, a lot of power position, a lot of hips, and a lot of setting the chin. You'll see I'm always pushing forward with the chin. You'll see I connect with the shoulder, and yes, I take my expressions right through to a laugh because you will be blown away by how many people buy these shots. Then we go to the seated poses, all the seated poses, sorry. I start with apple box. I'm bringing hands up into triangles. I'm bringing hands right up into frame. I'm always cropping, setting, going in and out in my composition, so I have 2 choices to do branding and headshots. Using hands, bringing them up around the face, and then using them for expression, because this is when we take our headshots to that next level, right? Would I price headshots the same as portraits? No, Laurie, I wouldn't. I do a package for my headshots because I deliver them digitally, unless I am doing a crossover where I turn the personal branding into a full portrait shoot, in which case I focus on selling the $3,500 folio box, and then I create the personal branding as a digital package. So I still don't. I still keep it secret, separate because I think it is a separate thing. Right, so I've never had hips. So I'm boy cut. I go down like that. Shoulders are wider than my hips. Okay, from here, using the expressions, using the lean in. When you watch this video, it's going to take you through these foundation poses, but it's all those foundation poses that I want you to get locked down, because sitting and standing, you get a very short amount of time, and you want to practice this video over and over again, all the flow that goes with it. It's super cool, and it's only about 40 minutes long. And I talk about expression as well. I don't think you have to offer makeup and styling, whether you're on location or not, but if you do offer it, it's going to be there. Look at it like this. I could offer makeup and styling, but the first thing I'm going to ask is that money is not coming to me, it's coming to my hair and makeup artist. Now, if I had a hair and makeup artist on team full time, I could charge a higher rate, keep that extra money and just pay her day rate or his day rate. That's, again, up to you. Or I could just offer it as a contractor to come in and do it. Now, let's say you say that makeup artist is $400. That $400 is going on the overall quote, but it's not coming to you. So you really have to ask, will it make my ship go faster? Now, if it's going to make your images look better, give you a buffer between the next client, they can also help assist you, then yes, it will help your ship go faster. But if it's just going to add money and you think the client might be on the nose about accepting this quote, then don't. Okay, it's entirely up to you. So there's a very famous quote that says your network is your net worth. And the truth is your network is your net worth. In business, the ability to relationship build is extraordinary. I need you to understand that anytime you meet a business owner right now, if you are interested in this genre, bringing this genre into your business or pushing further into it, I need you to ask every single person on this list if they've had their personal branding done. So which of these genres do you want to dominate? All of them? I've written it down like this, and when I look at this list, I could create a campaign, PDF for email, magazine, promo video, or a specific online campaign for every one of these demographics. An influencer or a blogger is huge right now. Personal brand, any personal brand, online CEOs, entertainers, actors, and models. I see them more in the contact sheet, package, but I love this idea that I could create a PDF just for entertainers, actors, and models profiles. I hear a lot of people out there say, influencers don't pay. And that might have been because an influencer contacted you and said, hey, do this for exposure. You can say, that's really great that you would give me exposure, and I need exposure doesn't pay my mortgage, obviously. So you have to decide how much is exposure and how much you need to be paid. Don't assume that everyone can't pay you. That's on you. Okay? You're putting out an offer to influencers and bloggers. I've been to a bloggers conference and spoken as a keynote speaker. Some of these blogs were doing $2 to $7 million a year, and they were Texas mums bloggers. And I was like, yeah, they're my clients. Personal brand, online CEOs, entertainers, actors, models, speakers, authors, corporate headshots, creatives and entrepreneurs. They're all different. You know, Jerson just went to a dentist here in LA, told the dentist what he did. The dentist said, oh, maybe I should look at your work. G showed her his work, and he said, I can do personal branding for your business. She brought in all 6 of her staff, and they just did a $6,000 round of headshots and branding for her business. And she, this week, started sending referrals. So this is an incredible way to hit your network net worth, okay? Really, really, really incredible way to hit your network. So have you had your personal branding done? Is your first question, have you had your personal branding done? Let me show you. So I have a question for you. Shauna has designed a Headshots magazine, and we were looking at the magazine, her and I together, and then we were writing an article. What would be the best way for us right now to create a template for you around headshots and personal branding? Is it going to be a magazine that speaks to the public about headshots and personal branding? Or is it going to be a magazine that you can use to pitch to businesses? Remember, Shauna has designed even a way to sell advertising in your own magazine. So even if you're working with businesses, you can create magazines for them. You can create the images for their own magazine and have them design their own magazine for their own business. You can create all of that content for them. I would love to see a very contemporary article written that you can share about headshots and personal branding. What if we wrote an article and then you change all of the points to your business name and you changed out all of the images? What is going to get you more traction right now? I want to know, and what's going to help you get more big corporate shoots, because I'd love you to get some big groups. So there are 2 videos after this. One is posing headshots video where you're going to see expression and all those basic foundation poses that I want you to lock down. Trust me, get them all in, because once you go to a place and you've got people coming in and you're nervous and you've got to make sure you've got a backup battery, you've got to make sure you take your battery chargers, backup batteries for your phone, extra CF cards, your laptop if you have to download it. Think about what you're going to need and do not make any mistakes. You get very small window of time to get these people on board. You've got to make a connection with them and talk with them. So come back and watch the posing videos whenever you want. Get that locked down so that you're good to go. Any questions about that? Kit to travel with, I'm always going to tell people to come to my studio unless it's a big team and I can go and set up there. I will need to know exactly how much space I have and what the room looks like. It's pretty easy to ask them to send an iPhone or smartphone photograph to you so you know exactly what you're going to be arriving into. Why is strobe easier than constant light or natural light? You get to this place and you get there on a stormy day and you have bad light. A lot of corporate offices have tinted windows, blue, yellow and green, and it puts a horrible hue. Just about all of them have tungsten lighting, so it's going to look terrible when you photograph it. The strobe is going to overpower any ambient light or any room light, and but can you do this with natural light? Absolutely you can, but I would love you to go and check out the situation that you're going to be walking into so you're really prepared, super professional and amazing, and that you know exactly where you're going and what to do. So any questions, hit me up. I just threw that all at you. There is so much in there to go back through. I absolutely loved shooting these. I love doing this video. It was so much fun. I love watching G get lots more work doing these. I want to see some big group packages. I'd love to see you get $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 packages for headshots and personal branding. And there are no rules anymore. And you're the one that are making the rules. So when people say, make sure you ask the right questions. How do you want to be photographed? Where do you want to be cropped? Show them the difference. Show them the tones you use. Show them that you offer different sizes, different crops, different tones, color and black and white. Be a full service. Get a client for life. Remember to go to the download page. Download Posing Men. Download Big Men. It's a side-by-side of Posing Men and Big Men with extra tips and tricks on elbows out, leaning forward, dropping the front knee, creating space if they have a big belly or torso and a double chin, because it's a totally different focus for boys and men than it is for women. Okay? Now, any questions? How high do the ceilings need to be? Well, my big Octa and my 5-foot Octa and my extra large umbrella, usually if they're on the back of my shoulder, usually go to about 8.5 feet. You don't actually need a lot of space at the top. Do be aware that whenever you photograph in a bigger space, especially with natural light, you get way more depth in the image. But you could do this in a fairly low surround. If they're not going to be standing, it really wouldn't matter if you were in a corporate 8-foot ceiling, because, it's usually sitting anyway on apple boxes or a stool. Okay, f8 for headshots, but I teach 2.8. When did I teach you that, Charlie? I'm shooting at f8 with strobe always. So I would only shoot 2.8 with my strobe if I am high sync with, say, 800 ISO with a bit of window light contributing, and I specifically want a 2.8 look. I shoot 2.8 natural light, not on the Mark IV. I now shoot 5.6 up because I want to not miss my focus. And f8 with a strobe is everything I shot that you saw. You'll see that f8 is the perfect aperture. Yeah, 5.6 looks good too. 8 just gives you that perfect in focus on the face, every eyelash, and then you just don't run that risk of shooting fast and missing focus. Okay, print reveal. No print reveal, digital package. Digital package, Amber, for corporate headshots is all you need. You don't need to do a print reveal for corporate packages. It's the only time we do digital packages. Yeah. All right, if there's no more questions, it's 1 o'clock. I've given you an hour chocked full of information. Enjoy the next 2 videos at your leisure. And I so look forward to you publishing your images in the group, because I would love to see more, especially personal branding. What would I charge for first test run? Was that a question to me, Gladys? You might need to give me a little bit more details. So how do they see their options, Alison? You can do this pre-sold, and then you can choose their top 3, or you can do, this is the only time I would use a presentation gallery like ShootProof. Okay, but I also have a couple of sales things coming up in the next couple of weeks where I'm going to teach you how to do, I know Ashley has put a video into our group on selling via Skype if they can't come back to you, because to me it's more in person but online. Other than that, this is the only time. Or I would pre-qualify the package, sell it, take the money, and then deliver the package on Dropbox, high resolution. Yeah, done. Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll love you and leave you. Oh, tripod, last question. I don't use a tripod because they're, you know, annoying, and I just find it much easier at f8 at 100 ISO at 1/25th of a second to just hand hold it, and I get beautiful, strong, sharp. Same day delivery, only if my retoucher can work on that day. Otherwise, hell no, I don't do same day anymore. I want quality over speed unless they're specifically asking for an urgent headshot. To clarify, you charge an hourly rate plus $200. No, Dawn, I said you can charge hourly, you can charge a day rate, or you can charge per image, but when you break it down, do the pricing based on your cost of doing business. How many images is best to sell in a digital package? Only you can tell me that. I say 3, I say 5, I say 7, I say 10, I say 20, but it must, cost of doing business, break down per image to be fully worth everything that you are charging. Don't just throw out 20 images, you know, make it worth its while, break it down. Getting started with headshots, technical skills, would you charge for practice runs? Gladys, I would ask for any friend that wants to sit and pose for you in a corporate styled outfit or personal branding, follow the video that you're going to watch next, use the posing guide on there to lock it down. If they love the images, give them a couple of them to use. If you're ready to start selling it and you don't have images, you might need some images. So I would definitely do a practice run first. Anybody you can, get them to come and pose from you, and you can give them images in exchange. How do you charge personal brand and head? I don't teach it, I don't treat it any differently. For me, headshots and personal branding are the same thing. Portraits are more expensive. I want them to come into my studio, Maria, as headshots and personal branding, and then come back as a portrait client, okay? And then send me hundreds of other clients in all genres. I was contracted by a non-profit to assist people who are in a year program for an interview to get jobs. These individuals are recent immigrants, ex-felons, abused women. I did the headshots to practice. It was great for both of us. I took some of these to use for my headshot PDF. That's wonderful. All right. That's great. I'm so excited about this, and I feel like you guys can really find so much power and confidence here. When you start doing these shoots, like just the shoots we did for this was so incredible, so much fun. All the black and white images that you'll see in the posing guide for Monique that we shot on green, I actually did in black and white, which gave that beautiful grey mid-tone. I love them. I love how contemporary they are. I also love, I didn't do a lot of hair blowing or crazy stuff. You can take it as far as you want to go now. I do not tether, Lee, because people get up off the seat and look at the tether, and I don't want them to see it or look at it. I do remote tether from my Mark IV to my iPad on Canon Connect, which is a free app, only if you have Canon though, but I'm sure Nikon probably have one by now. So, you know, I do that and my iPad is out of sight, and then I can like and star my images on the iPad, and I have the big iPad, you know, looks like a big screen pretty much. I can walk around and it's absolutely wonderful for when you're 48 years old and you start going a little bit soft in the eyes. My brother owns a fitness centre in downtown Calgary with 90% members being men, trying to figure out how to create a win-win for doing headshots for his members. Would I gift them one? Why would you gift them? It's called offering them at a price, and then they say, yes, I need personal branding. So why don't you ask the question? You're already going to a discount, Alison. Why don't you ask the question, do you need amazing personal branding? Why don't you offer it to your gym for before and afters, for their 12-week challenge clients to see their body challenge? Why don't you offer it for any business where you think their staff should be profiled on the walls around with beautiful imagery? There isn't a single business in this planet that doesn't need you right now. Did you know that? And every time you walk into a networking meeting, that's where you start. I'm a professional photographer. I specialize in headshots, personal branding, and portrait. If you choose to say it the other way, you can. And then you are selling, you are selling, you are selling. Show your work, have fun, attract more clients. Attract more clients. I can think of a million different ways to make this work. So if you have any ideas or you just want to spitball, write it in the group and tag me, and I'll come and help you brainstorm it. Okay? If you need help breaking down the cost of doing business on your quotes, come into the group and ask people, but don't say, what would you quote? Come back and say, this is going to cost me this much money. This is my breakdown. This is everything I will need on location. This is how many people and how much time. I've priced out hair and makeup, styling. I've priced out, you know, everything I need to price out. And then I want to put this on it. Start there. Deconstruct your pricing based on profit, because that is the end result for you. All right? Have a great week. Practice your headshots and personal branding. Post them in the group and talk to me there.